men have sat on this table, but there can only be one show.
MTC Beats.
It's time for the Money Mind Mastery Podcast.
Let's take it back a little bit if you're okay with it.
I'm good,
You know,
I'm good.
because you told us a story earlier, and that was really,
It's heavy.
It's something I can't imagine happening to me. Tell us, you know, how did you find out that you actually had that C word? Why are we saying C?
You can say cancer.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
to me,
Like,
it's
how
a
did you
blessing.
find out?
Oh yeah, so what had happened was like my modem. I'll bring it back to fine detail. I was heading to Best Buy to get an AC 1200 modem because my modem was shit.
It's all about that. It's a computer then. That's a computer.
So I was heading to Best Buy, and then a couple blocks away from my house, my cheek started twitching. You know, I was thinking nothing because I get those like muscle twitches and they go away after. But after a while, it just started getting vigorous and it just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I took a big deep breath, kept on driving, and it just got more vicious. And I took another deep breath and I just blacked out. Next thing you know, I felt these knuckles on my chest, and it was a paramedic saying, "Sir, you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, what the hell's going on with a pounding headache? And they're like, what happened? They started asking me questions. I told them what had happened. They said, you suffered a seizure. We got to take you back to ER. We got to get your head scanned. Went back to ER doctor, exact same questions. He goes, yep, get your head scanned. I got my head scanned, and that's when they found it. And I was saying, I told everyone that accident is a blessing in disguise, because I know if I was just at home watching TV or playing video games, went through that seizure, I would have woken up like, what the hell was that? Oh, well, where's my controller? And, just do my thing.
Yeah.
But because of that accident, I call it the blessing disguise, and that's how I found the tumor. And later on, they found out within 10 days, I got my surgery.
I can imagine the day that you find out. That's life changing. Like,
Yeah, that definitely was.
Tell me what's going on in your head at that point when the doctor said, "Hey, you have cancer."
Oh man, like at first, like I was just really like, it wasn't cancer. It was just more the fact that they found something in my brain that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
That
Right.
was more the scare.
Right.
And then I
course.
remember he told me, and then he just kind of like tapped my thigh and walked away, and I was just like quiet. And then after that, I just cried,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I just didn't know what to do. But it was weird because I think I needed that cry, because once I let it out, it was like a relief, like something came out. Like,
Right.
I didn't have to be the tough guy and be like, hold it in. It was like, whoa, I needed to cry. I needed to let that out. And it just made me feel like, whoa, I can do this. I got
You
this.
got this. Yeah.
I got this. Like, I can fight this. Like, it's only surgery.
That's
Only
true.
10 days away. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quick though. 10 days you got it
Removed.
removed, and then after that you had to do like
Yeah.
chemo and all that?
So a few weeks later, they brought it to pathology. And
Yeah.
I got the report back. They found out it was stage 3, malignant, meaning that it's a higher rate to have it grow back again.
Right.
So what they recommended was chemo and radiation. They said it's entirely up to me. And I remember when I heard it, I was kind of like, shit.
Yeah.
Because they didn't contact me for a few weeks. So I figured, okay, it's been quite some time now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that big of a deal. It's not that lethal.
Yeah.
But then, and I was feeling good about myself. But, the universe again, bam,
Yeah.
hits you in the face. But again, that's another test that a higher being gave me,
course.
knowing the fact that I can get over this.
Yeah.
Like, the higher being will not give you a challenge that you cannot overcome.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. There's literally nothing that you haven't gone through in life that he hasn't helped you,
Yeah.
right? Any adversity, has he let you down? No.
No.
We're all here today. You know what I'm saying? Right? So you went through all that, and then you literally handed your 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
What was like, did you have a plan?
No, I just, I said, you know what? I've already kind of accepted. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry. Were you still like you weren't recovered yet when you handed your 2 weeks in?
Oh, I was fully recovered. I mean,
Okay.
not fully recovered. I still had more treatments to do.
Okay.
Right.
But so how it would work was I went back to like my 9 to 5.
Yep.
and I was still able to work. So what I did was when I put in my 2 weeks notice, I still had treatments later on in the month, and it was only a 1 week treatment where I could just take a week off and get back to work the next
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're still kind of in the middle of
I was
it,
still in the middle of it,
in the finishing, like almost
the
end
tail
kind
end
thing.
of my
Yeah.
treatments.
Okay.
And it was more of a maintenance treatment than anything of like that full on treatment.
Yeah.
And it was still not a good experience. Like, yeah, the puking.
Of course
and
not. No.
Just the nausea and just feeling gross all the time. Yeah, it just chemo sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I would not. And I like to say, like, I had a lot of family, like, a lot of the support was really there, like, from the family. However, when people would say fuck cancer, it just bothered me. I don't know what it was. It's just, I appreciate your words, but for some reason, I just couldn't vibe with that whole fuck cancer campaign because
Right.
it's like hate on hate. I don't know.
Yes.
Like two hates just don't make love.
It's true.
It just makes more hate.
Yeah.
And for me, I took cancer as a blessing. Like,
Right.
I took it the other way. Like, no, don't not fuck cancer. I loved it because it made me think. Gave me another chance to open up my innate behavior.
Yeah.
It opened my eyes, saying that the universe is like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you cancer because you know what? You're going to open your eyes from this and you're going to be coming on that path that you're supposed to go.
It's funny because my drive. Well, I just landed today. Well, yesterday actually, but I was driving with my sister today, and we were talking about two types of people: people that look at the glass half empty, and another people that look at the glass half full, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like from your experience, which is like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to handle what you've experienced, but you were still positive. You still had a vision, or you still wanted to be better,
Yeah.
regardless of what happened to you. Talk about that and how, because you preached about those two types of people. What made you choose to be the one that's always looking forward to, being a better person?
Oh yeah,
Considering
definitely. So,
what happened to you,
the
right?
number one reason would be my son Ryan, because I want to watch him grow up. And him without a dad, I would be doing him a disservice. So that was one of my main drives for me to survive this, because to leave my son without a father, I can't do that. That's just something that I cannot do. So he was the main drive that made my mindset to make sure that I'm going to see grandchildren. Like, I visualized grandchildren, and that was my goal. The other one was like, if I was supposed to go that day, I would not be happy with my life. Like, if I was supposed to go during that time. And I took that as a sign saying that,
Not done yet.
I'm not done yet. There are goals that I had before in life, before I went to the comfort zone, that I didn't achieve yet. But now it's like, I'm just full force, like no fear. I'm just going head on because, like I was telling, I just don't feel anything can break me right now for what I've been through.
It's very
I
powerful.
agree, man. That's very
powerful.
true. Very true. Because you went through something that that would break a lot of people, right? Like what we were talking about before we started recording is that there's two types of people. There's like you said, there's the person that acts like a victim,
Yeah,
or you want to be
Victim or the victor?
the victor,
the victor.
the victor.
Yeah.
Victor.
Yeah, there was an experience during my treatments. Like, there's a certain, like, when you do your treatments, there's some waiting areas, and there's a couple of people waiting for their treatments. And I just felt this weird magnetic energy. And when they were talking, they were just miserable. They're like, oh, I can't eat. I can't sleep. I just hate this. And I was sitting next to them, and I felt this weird kind of magnetic
Negative
Yeah.
energy.
force that I felt
Yeah.
that it was like shivering me. Then I had to walk somewhere else. And I can't
crazy.
do this.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't hear that. And I just thought to myself, I'm going to get through it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And I just, you can't force people to do it. So I was just like, for me saying, hey, you can't say that. I was like, to each his own. I'll let him say what he has to say. I'm just going to be over here and just think my own thoughts.
Wow.
That's the way it should be, man. Because if you keep surrounding yourself with negative,
Yeah.
it's just gonna grow on you
Misery
even
loves
more.
company.
Literally,
Misery loves
right?
company.
Whereas if you're just around more, positive people, confident, the way that you're gonna progress is just so much more
Yeah.
compared to like a negative person. It's not gonna do anyone any good.